Hi, my name is Monterastelli, and the video you are about to watch is a recording from the 24 Hours of Tapping, which is an event that is held annually to support the Peaceful Heart Network. If you appreciate or learn anything from this video, the easiest way for you to say thank you is to support the work of the Peaceful Heart Network, who has worked with over 300,000 migrants, immigrants, prisoners, folks in disaster areas by bringing tapping to them. As you watch the video, across the bottom, you will see a link where you can support their amazing work. And I hope you enjoy this conversation. So, Carol Look is a licensed social worker and an EFT master, is an author, a speaker, and a coach. Trained as a psychotherapist and a hypnotist, Carol has studied EFT for over 24 years and became an EFT master under the direct mentorship of Gary Craig, and is the creator of EFT. Carol has taught abundance workshops all over the world. She loves mentoring, tapping students, and creating EFT resources that include her popular book, Attracting Abundance with EFT. Please welcome to the virtual stage our friend Carol Look. The things that I'm really fascinated with, and I think super important when I'm learning, when I'm working with clients, is not the words that we use, but what we mean by those particular words. Because, years and years ago, a friend of mine wrote a book called Real Love in a Pizza Love World. Like, you and I can say the exact same word and we can mean different things. And so just as a jumping off point, because in the transformational space, we talk about gratitude all the time. For you, what do you actually mean just by that word? And then we'll use that as a jumping off point.
Blessed and appreciative for everything I do have, rather than a focus on what I don't have.
Okay, yeah. And so then, with that being as a definition, how then does that become a useful tool in transformation and being in the moment, in all of the different ways that we can use that appreciation and understanding? Like, how do you see that giving us something, and what does that practically look like?
Well, so in the book that we were talking about, Yes, Thank You, Tapping into the Superpower of Gratitude, I did all this research about gratitude because we all talk about it and everybody says, oh, I do my gratitude list. And they're not. They're not doing it every day. They are not tapping into the superpower. So I did this research and found out what it really does for you. It's not just, oh, I'm happy, I do a gratitude list. It's whopper statistics, astonishing statistics about cortisol, about stress relief, about improving your sleep, about reducing hypertension. All these statistics came out. And so what's really fun is to understand that this isn't just a light, oh, thank you, oh, I appreciate this. It's really profound. It's life-changing. It's very serious. But I keep finding that people, myself, I was a guinea pig always, right? That people aren't really using it. And I don't know if they don't know the research. I didn't know all the research. I knew it was good for you, air quotes, good for you, right? But I didn't know the research. I didn't know the shocking statistics that make it a superpower. So let's just say it'll change your life. It'll rock your world and change your life, but you have to do it. It's just like EFT, which is one of my points, right? It will rock your world, change your life, but people aren't doing it every day. They're doing it under duress. They're doing it once a week. They're doing it, occasionally a couple of points.
And I think the thing that you're keying into there, I think is really important. And I've had like the kind of same wrestling with people talking about gratitude practices in the past, is that me saying thank you for something is not gratitude. Me saying thank you for something is me saying words outside of my mouth, the exact same way when someone goes, how you doing? And I just go, fine. Like, that is just a word that is coming out of my mouth that is filling a space. And oftentimes when we sit down to do gratitude practice, I'm going to say, then things I'm thankful for today, like, it is this perfunctory thing where I go, blueberries, fresh coffee, my mom, but there's no emotional engagement. There's no connection. I could just be saying gobbledygook and making up words, because it would be equally as emotionally engaging. And so I think this first idea that you're touching into here, I think is super important when we think of gratitude. Gratitude is not words. Gratitude is a disposition. It's an appreciation. It's a feeling. It's a consciously moving towards something, not just saying something.
Which is why I use the word blessing when you ask me about the definition.
Yeah.
If you feel blessed by something, it's very different. I feel very different. I wasn't raised, it's not religious. It's not spiritual. It's just oh, I am truly blessed by something, that has a different feel to it. So if there's no feeling there, again, same with tapping. If there's no feeling there, then it's just words and a movement and a gesture, and it doesn't go deeply and it doesn't hit your heart. And we want both the gratitude and the tapping, we want it to get into our hearts.
And when you say that, I actually do go to a spiritual place. I think of St. Francis of Assisi, and what he said in Italian, obviously not in English, but a loose translation is all things are better when they are seen as a gift. And so what he was talking about was a meal prayer, which we call grace, where we are literally recognizing that thing. And it's not like, it's a sense of appreciation. And, well-formed Catholic, when we were trained, we're not just grateful for the food, we're grateful for those who had a hand in it. We're praying for those who don't have it. But it's everything that you're saying there. It's positioning ourselves in a place of recognizing this is something special, and naming it as something special makes it special, or makes it more special as we engage with it.
I came across that quote in my research. It was interesting. I hadn't known it before. And that idea of the gift, seeing it as a gift, I think we're doing a lot of bypassing. People are doing a lot of checking it off their list. That's what I found. And I've done it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Check it off your list. So you're not feeling it, which means you're not in it, right? Which means you're not really accessing it. And we want access. We want access to the heart. We want access to the idea it's a gift, that it's a blessing, that whatever you're grateful for is worth the time, not just the, oh yes, I did my gratitude list today, in an unserious way.
So with that, what I'd like to do is I kind of like to step through it, kind of like, what does it look like? What does it look like with tapping? What does it look like as we're like trying to actually create change beyond that particular moment? So if this is not a perfunctory me going through a list of 9 things that I am thankful for, and me struggling to come up with a 10th thing as I sit here in the morning to check off my gratitude off my list, practically, what does it look like, or how do we ensure when we're doing this, I'm not doing a gratitude list, but I'm engaging with the feeling and the sensation of gratitude?
Time, attention, and intention.
Mm-hmm.
So usually people are doing the checklist, which means they have an intention to get it done.
Right.
That's not the right intention. We want the intention to be feeling it deeply and expressing it deeply, not to anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. But making sure that we're not just rushing through it, because we said that's on our list of what we do today. We do our speed walk, we eat healthy, we do no, it's very, very deep and serious. I keep using the word serious. It's kind of funny because it doesn't feel serious, but the practice is serious.
Yeah.
The practice needs to be serious.
And I think instead of the word serious, I think of like gravity. Like there is some weight to it, and things can have gravity to them without, because serious so often feels stuffy and hard and stuff like that. And so, like, what it sounds like you're describing to me is it's something that has some mass and some heft to it, and I'm recognizing it as something that is bigger than just a word that is coming out of my mouth.
And respect. So the same way I respect the EFT practice, which is daily, and people say, someone said to me recently, oh, Carol, you've been tapping for 25 years. What else do you have to tap on? Really?
Right.
Would you like to see the list? Right.
Yeah.
But I take it very, very seriously, and I have markers for beginning, middle, and end. And I know when I've done it. I know when I haven't done it. I don't do it watching TV. I really pay attention. This is something sacred. There's my word.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do the exact same thing. Like, I'm sitting here in my office with the whole command center and multiple screens and lights and stuff all over the desk. And when it comes time for me to do tapping, screens are turned off. Space is cleared. My tapping journal comes out in front of me. I do 60 seconds of content-free wordless tapping just to prepare myself to do some tapping. Like, that is time that is protected in that particular way. And so I love the sense of, how do I set the intention to protect this thing because it is so valuable to me? I think about, like, as a child growing up, one of the core values my parents had was we had dinner together as a family. And 3 really active kids, and a father officiated sports and a mother was super active in theater, like dinner never happened at the exact same time. But because it was a core value that the five of us are going to sit around the table as much as we can, and we'll adjust our schedule to do that, like that was significant because it wasn't about us sitting together and it was easier for whoever's preparing the meal. It was, oh, this is a value. And like, I think it's you know, we talk about this stuff as being good. Rarely do we say, this is valuable and this is why it is valuable to me. So I just love that as a reframe, even for those of us who've been using tools forever, to reconnect with that idea of this is sacred when we're doing this sort of thing.
Yes. And that's why in the book, I was talking about how, you know, there are blocks to it and those are understandable, but then let's get to the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's figure it out so that we don't do the whole next year as click, check.
Right.
I did my gratitudes at 10 o'clock at night when I was exhausted falling asleep.
Yeah.
You know, let's really pay attention to, is it in your life? Because, you know, you get things done that are valuable to you. If you put time aside,
Yep.
if you make a decision, it's really about clarity and making a decision. If you make a decision, watch out, right? When Jean and Carol make decisions, watch out because those will get done. And so this really is a decision rather than something on your checklist, as we keep saying.
So we now have decided that this is something that is valuable. We have now decided I am going to give myself as consistently as I can presence to this practice.
Yeah.
What does it then look like when I sit down to do this if I'm not just going blueberries, mom, baseball on a sunny Saturday afternoon? Like, what does the moment look like when we're doing that particular piece of it?
So I have several different ways that I do it. And the gratitude tapping, I started 25 years ago in the tapping field because I didn't love choices and I didn't love positive tapping. I found I didn't really, they didn't speak, they were fine and I would do them, but I didn't really feel them in the same way. So what I make sure I do, so one of the ways I can do a gratitude tapping or my gratitude list is while I'm tapping. But I make sure I do tapping on the issues first, right? So I don't skip the negative. I don't skip the problem. We do that. And then I end with gratitude tapping. So it might sound like I appreciate, I'm grateful for, thank you, universe. So you can say, thank you, universe, for bringing me the resolution to this problem. We'll do it in a little bit. We'll do some tapping on that, right? I do write it out because it's very important physically to write them out. So I do that. I have a grid box that I do. And I have always loved the gratitude walking. So you and I were talking about walking in New York. And that's another non-negotiable that I do in my life. And to be walking around and breathing and looking around and saying your gratitude list is really fun. And there's something about it that's a little different than sitting in my living room with a piece of paper. So there are lots of ways I can do it. There are a lot of options. But as long as I get it done, right?
And it's interesting you say you do the negative first. I think the same is true when we're doing any sort of forgiveness work. Like if we get to the forgiveness piece too quickly, where we haven't been able to give voice to the hurt and the harm and the struggle, if we get to the forgiveness piece too early, it's just kind of like I'm just putting a poster over a cracked wall. I'm not actually dealing with what is there. I'm just kind of hiding it by going, oh yeah, and I forgive. I think the same can be true with gratitude, that gratitude, there is lots of power inside of it. But if we haven't positioned ourselves properly, it just becomes a layer of paint that we're sticking over something that we're not actually creating deeper change and transformation for. And those cracks are still there. And therefore, the cracks are still going to be impacting the structure, much like it's going to impact what we're doing. And so I really love the idea that you're clearing the deck by not just starting with, I am thankful for, and I am thankful for, and I appreciate, and I'm grateful for, and this is great. But like going, okay, great. What's the emotion that is there that is in the way for me to be fully present to the practice? Which then we get a double win. One is I'm clearing stuff that I'm carrying around. And two is I am now setting the table to do something more powerful, which is really tuning into gratitude in a way that is rooted and grounded and powerful.
Otherwise, it has no place to land. I flew home recently and there was no gate. So we had to circle the airport, right? So there's no place to land if you've got competing feelings. So if you're really resentful, but you think it's time for you to do your gratitude list, you've got pushback.
Yeah.
And we want to, as you said, clear the decks. We want to just have the the place be open and ready to receive it. So I always make sure, I've taken care of that first, whatever's nagging, whatever pulling at me that might be in my way, that's distracting or diluting the practice. Because again, the practice isn't just self-help. Oh, gratitude is good for you.
Yeah.
Again, right? In the research, I found out what it really does to you, and I will not back off from calling it a superpower, nor will I ever back off from calling EFT tapping a superpower. So you got the two of them together. It's like, oh, what's the problem? We're not doing it. What's the problem? We have two superpowers, and we're like, oh yeah, I'll get to it tomorrow. I've watched myself do it. I've watched other people, clients come back and say, oh yeah, I did it 2 days this week. 2 days. Oh my gosh, I'm asking for 10 minutes of tapping and 10 minutes of gratitude, and we're not doing it. We've got blocks.
And so there's a couple of things inside of there. One is like, just as a trainer and as a teacher, like in the last year, there's been a real shift in my life that I'm so less interested in teaching people more tools. I'm so much more interested in how do we set up people actually using the tool regularly. Like it doesn't matter how many methods we have collected. It's about this execution in a really, really specific way that becomes useful inside of that. The other thing is that like, one of the things I like doing is I like tapping the emotion about the issue. So before I get to the issue, like this thing is hard, well, how do I feel about the fact this thing is hard? I feel overwhelmed. I feel incompetent. I feel the world's against me, that sort of stuff. And like, it's easy for me to craft a routine of things that take care of me spiritually, emotionally, physically. Like you, I have a morning routine that I go through every single day that touches all of those areas before I sit down and I work and I start my day. And it's really hard to do gratitude process when we think it is a chore that has to be done. It is the morning, and this is part of what I put into my body, and this is my exercise, and this is my stretching routine to deal with my doughy middle-aged body. And like the moment it becomes a chore, we have now added this extra barrier. And so even just doing some tapping around the fact of like, right now, doing gratitude feels like a chore. And I recognize the fact that if I engage with it, it's not a chore, it's actually a grace. If I engage with it and like giving ourselves permission to tap for resisting tapping on the gratitude that we're there because it's a chore, we don't feel grateful, all of those things, giving ourselves permission to engage in that particular way.
Awesome. And don't forget the sabotage piece.
Yeah.
So when I was doing the research, I'd go back into my own story. And I was looking at why was I not consistent with it? What was going on? And there were three main things, which is one, I was preoccupied with the pain from my family. I didn't want to do a gratitude list. I wanted to stop the alcoholics from drinking.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're not in a gratitude space, right? Then the low self-esteem piece. Low self-esteem does not make people want to do a gratitude list and feel better. And then the sabotage. So why do we sabotage ourselves? Because it makes us feel safer. People feel safer feeling mediocre than when they feel A+. And I mean feeling A+. I don't mean a grade or a check mark. And basically, we have a hard time feeling a lot better, feeling deserving of joy and contentment and happiness. And that ends up being what one of the problems is we know that if we do gratitude and tapping regularly, together or separately, and we do them regularly, we will change, we will feel better, and we will do better in our life and our relationships and our job.
And I think that like so key inside of that is like there's all sorts of secondary gain issues that I don't heal this and I keep this thing that I like, or I'm afraid of the outcome that's there. You're talking about something that is different. And I think like particularly that first one that you were talking about, one of the things I love about the transformational space is because we think about the human experience through our own lens, we are able to more likely to have sympathy and empathy for the people around us and have compassion around us. And if we are in a circumstance where we have the opportunity to stop our day and have the technology to watch a conversation like this, it means that we're to the right side of the bell curve of the people in the world, of the people of dealing with, like, if I have enough time to have this conversation or listen to this conversation, it means I have enough luxury. Like, we might not feel like we have lots of luxury, but we're able to go, oh, there are people who are dealing with real struggle. And so there can be this real resistance to be grateful when I'm in a circumstance where it's really easy to go, oh, I'm taking more than my fair share. because I'm in a circumstance that I recognize other people in the world have these things going on. You recognizing the pain and struggle inside of your family and people who are in real pain. How dare I sit down and be grateful for how good my life is when I should be, instead of sitting here wallowing in my gratitude, going to do something to fix the pain that the people are around us. And I love what you talk about, is this idea of, this is not stopping me from doing that. Instead, if I do this in a thoughtful way, I show up more fully in the world, which means I'm a better friend. I'm a better family member. I'm a better helper. I'm more aligned with my purpose. I am consistently taking action towards the things that are creating the things that I love. And so it's kind of like, I don't beat myself up for sleeping last night, taking a breath, or eating food. Those are selfish acts as well, which allow me to do this other stuff. This, in some way, is essential for us to being able to be in the world, being who we truly are, to create that agent of change. And like, we feel bad to be grateful, because feeling grateful means, oh, I got better than other folks. And so I love you talking about just even the resistance to being grateful.
It's amazing, because I used client stories, and as I say, I am always my first and worst guinea pig, right?
Yeah.
So, the questions that I love to ask. What's the upside of staying stuck? Or what's the upside of staying unclear and like, oh, I don't have time for this. And what's the upside?
Yeah.
Right? Because you are going to feel a lot better. I say to people, we're not going to argue whether you're going to feel better or not. You will, which means you will be a better friend, a better supporter, a better family member, etc. So we know the results of doing EFT consistently. And now we know the results of doing gratitude consistently. There's nobody could argue me out of that, right? Yeah. So now we have to look at, so what's the problem? What's the upside of not doing it? What's the downside of reaching your goal? What's the downside of feeling fabulous every day? Is it guilt? Yeah. Is it guilt because other people are suffering? Is it guilt? Is it the self-esteem issue, which is, I don't deserve to feel that good? Right.
And for me, the way in for me with those is, it is not safe for me to be grateful because I'm not allowed to be grateful because. And for me, I think those are interesting, because like, safe is about me, allowed is about me and community. And much of what you're talking about here is, me having it better or moving forward in a way that the people around me aren't. I can feel showy. I can feel standoffish. I can feel disconnecting. I can feel like they're going to be catty and coming after me for doing those things. And recognizing when we're not safe, when we're not allowed to step into this, that becomes a really easy way to unlock these keys. So we step into that. So we actually do the practice.
Safety is the key to all the sabotage behavior. You wouldn't sabotage yourself in anything, in your diet, in your sleep, in your professional life, in your relationships, with your gratitude. You wouldn't sabotage it if it didn't make you feel safer. So we want to get underneath that and say, well, how do we help you feel safe, feeling fantastic, no matter what's going on, no matter what's going on around you? It's not about the circumstances, right? It's about, again, your heart, your presence, the sacredness of it. How do we get there? And we have to ask the right questions and then find out how to make it, as you say, a practice that you do, not, oh, here's another tool in my toolbox. Everybody's toolbox is like spilling over, right? How about we take some of the incredible tools we have and use them with reverence, use them with sacredness, and really pay attention to them.
Great. So then let's talk about then, how do you like make gratitude and tapping go hand in hand? Like what does that particular combination look like when you're using it?
Yeah. So the first thing I would do is take the target, whatever it is, stress relief, frustration with a family member, something going on at work, and take care of that, get it down a few points before I go into the gratitude about the situation. So I usually I can tie it to what's going on. So again, we can do one together if you want. Tie it together. Otherwise, it becomes sort of disembodied. I did my tapping, and now I'm tapping for my gratitude list, and it's not quite connected. You can do that. You can tap while you're doing a gratitude list anyway, but I love combining it so that it's a sort of a real life experience. So we could pick a topic, pick a target. You be my echo. What would you like to be?
So I currently have some frustration with some colleagues who I am co-creating some stuff with, and their willingness to stay on task and do what they are asked to do.
Good. Okay. Do you want to give it a number?
In this moment, as I tune into it, like a 6-ish, frustration, disappointment.
Okay. Here we go. As usual, right here. Even though I feel frustrated and disappointed,
Even though I feel frustrated and disappointed,
they're not as focused as I am.
they're not as focused as I am.
Even though they gave their commitment,
And even though they gave their commitment,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I feel frustrated and disappointed,
Even though I feel frustrated and disappointed,
they're not on board the way I thought they might be,
they're not on board the way I thought they might be,
the way I thought they committed to.
the way I thought they committed to.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Eyebrow. I feel frustrated and I don't like the feeling.
I feel frustrated and I don't like the feeling.
I feel disappointed and I don't like the feeling.
I feel disappointed and I don't like the feeling.
I feel frustrated and disappointed,
I feel frustrated and disappointed,
and it's showing up in my body.
and it's showing up in my body.
I can even hear it in my voice.
I can even hear it in my voice.
I don't like feeling these feelings about colleagues.
I don't like feeling these feelings about colleagues,
Under the arm, but I accept that I am feeling this way.
but I accept that I am feeling this way.
I accept who I am and that I'm allowed to have these feelings.
I accept who I am and that I'm allowed to have these feelings.
Good, deep breath. And we would just tune in. How's that feel? Anything new? Anything pop up?
So like the place that I went to is just like practical things I could do. Like just like, oh, like, okay, great. This is where things are. This is what's going on. Great. Awesome. And it was just like, okay, these are the like when these are the 4 things that I can do the next time I get a chance to sit down and work on this particular thing.
Good. One of the problems is when we feel emotions like frustration and disappointment about other people, we have a secondary thought that is like, we shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And that becomes a problem because then we're suppressing the very feelings we're trying to tap on to release and neutralize so we can be in the space that you're in now, right?
Well, and then there's a couple of like, so there, like for me, there's always 2 stories. There's what is going on and there's the meaning that I give to it. So that's an example of the meaning that I give to it is I shouldn't feel this way. You know, another meaning I can give to it is, well, apparently I'm not worth their time and attention. You know, like, and not that that came up in this particular case, but like that is another story that comes up with that frustration and that disappointment. It isn't that I don't like being here, I shouldn't be here. It's like, oh, I'm here because I'm not important. If I was important, they would appreciate, they would show up, they would do those things.
And I think that's an important subtle difference that I think listeners could take advantage of. Even though I fear that I'm not that important.
Even though I fear I'm not that important.
And that's why they're not following up.
And that's why they're not following up.
And that's why I feel frustrated.
And that's why I feel frustrated.
I deeply and profoundly accept all of me anyway.
I deeply and profoundly accept all of me anyway.
Even though I have the secret fear that they don't care about me.
Even though I have this secret fear that they don't care about me.
And that's why they don't follow up.
And that's why they don't follow up.
I accept who I am.
I accept who I am.
And I accept all these difficult emotions.
And I accept all these difficult emotions.
I'm frustrated and disappointed.
I'm frustrated and disappointed.
I'm worried about what it might mean.
I'm worried about what it might mean.
I don't like feeling these feelings.
I don't like feeling these feelings.
I don't like feeling impatient.
I don't like feeling impatient.
I don't like feeling disappointed.
I don't like feeling disappointed.
But all of them are okay.
But all of them are okay.
And it doesn't mean anything about me.
And it doesn't mean anything about me.
Their behavior is about them.
Their behavior is about them.
And I know that deep down.
And I know that deep down.
Deep breath.
And there's just lots of space,
Yes.
you know.
Space. That's what we're going for. Then, after 1 or 2 rounds on the issue, then you're open to receive the gratitude and appreciation you might have about this situation.
Yeah.
And then you can turn it around again. But again, when people rush in and do it early, it's like the forgiveness process. You want to see someone run from your office, do the forgiveness process too early.
Yeah.
They're not there. They're not there and they don't feel it. So then you can either start here or go right around. So right here, I appreciate what I've learned about myself.
I appreciate what I've learned about myself.
I appreciate what I've learned about them.
I appreciate what I've learned about them.
I appreciate what I understand about disappointment.
I appreciate what I understand about disappointment.
I'm grateful for the opportunities.
I'm grateful for the opportunities.
I'm grateful for the opportunities that are coming out of this situation.
I'm grateful for the opportunities that are coming out of this situation.
Thank you, universe, for bringing me a solution.
Thank you, universe, for bringing me a solution.
Thank you, universe, for bringing me an answer.
Thank you, universe, for bringing me an answer.
Thank you, universe, for bringing me a solution to this challenge.
Thank you, universe, for bringing me a solution to this challenge. And the other thing that came with that, like if I was just tapping on my own, I would be like naming the really good things in those relationships. Like the things that are bubbling up are, it's outside of the context of this one frustration. Like there's still like, I need people to live up to their word. I would love people to engage in that particular way, but I am not thinking of those relationships only through that specific lens. I'm seeing the relationship of the time of our friendship, of the support I have received in the past, the things that I've learned from them, the affection I have for them. And so like, as we've been doing this, what it's done is it's moved the relationship from the thing that I'm frustrated with. And it's not that has gone away, but what I've done is the vocabulary I've been using a lot lately is I've expanded the canvas. And so the thing is the exact same size, but it is much smaller because I'm now looking at the gestalt of the entire canvas. It's not insignificant. It's not unnoticeable, but it's a percentage of what is going on. It is not what is going on. And that just immediately shifts my energy. It also like shifts my energy when I go to engage with them, because I'm no longer like engaging with them through the lens of, again, this instant. I'm engaging with them about this instant in the context of the relationship and the history and all of the other things that go along with that. And so I'm not becoming a doormat. I'm not letting them not live up to their expectation. But oh my gosh, I know when I have conversations this week about this with them, it's going to be completely different because it's in that context. It's not just in the instance.
Beautifully said. And that doesn't happen when you do a check off gratitude list.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I combine it. And it's so profound when you really do it and really think about, thank you for what I learned, or thank you for the lesson or the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because when your nervous system is up here full with disappointment, frustration, irritation, you have no access to that side of gratitude. You can't. It's biological, everybody. It's not, an opinion. It's biological. You don't have access to the gratitude when you're irritated and frustrated and disappointed.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like if before doing this, if I was trying to have thoughts of gratitude towards these people because they are worth having gratitudes toward, like, I would have been looking through red stained glass. Like I wouldn't be able to see them or the gratitude clearly because I'd be, I so appreciate grump, 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 grump. Like, the grumpopotamus comes out in an unuseful way.
Yeah.
And so that makes it easier to engage in that particular way.
Good. Well, thank you for sharing that part with us. Both parts.
Yeah. Awesomeness. Excellent. So practically, we've talked about stuff on a high level. Folks are recognizing, okay, great. And because like it's great to go, I'm not working out. I'm going to work out 4 times a week for 90 minutes. That's not going to happen. Like, so for someone who is right at the front edge of this, they have an appreciation for gratitude and they want to tangibly start to integrate this in their life. What does the next 10 days look like? Like, what is something really simple you could give someone to do over the course of the next week and a half or 2 weeks to start getting their toes into this again and like digging into the ground there?
I would say I would do it with the tapping because you're already in the momentum is going, you're doing the tapping. So I would do a timer. 10 minutes. I do more than that, but do 10 minutes of tapping. And after you've done 2 rounds, the way we did on the issue or one of your main issues, then start thoughtfully tuning into, well, what could I be grateful for? What is true? The other thing is people do things, I should probably be grateful for the roof over my head. If you're not grateful for the roof over your head today, don't put it on the list. So then tune in and say, well, what is true about the stress I just identified and tapped on about my boss and the work situation or finances? What would be true? Well, because then you have to think about it. Then you have to pause. Yeah. Love the pause, right? You have to pause long enough to think about doing it in a way that it feels real and genuine and authentic. That's what we want. So authentic gratitude. I'm grateful that I actually am grateful today that I have a job. Wasn't yesterday. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
I'm grateful that my boss gave me some freedom last week around this project. Like, give yourself space to say, interesting, what's next? Don't force it. And you're already in the tapping. So you're already neutralizing the parts of you that are spiking, that are upset, that are resentful. You're already taking care of those. And you've done a couple of rounds. And now you're saying, if I truly tuned in and was present with the gratitude, maybe it's not whopping, amazing things, but they're small things, and it's the feeling, not the thing. Sometimes on my gratitude list is I got the laundry done this weekend. It is not something massive.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing I like doing, like at that intersection where we're trying to figure it out, is I love just adding the phrase, even though I don't know the answer to this, if I did, what might I be grateful for? And so I'm giving myself permission not to have the right answer, not to be declarative. And I'm giving myself the opportunity to jump, and the other thing is even though this is really frustrating, I'm open to the possibility that I can find something to be grateful for, and I'm not even like, I'm open to the possibility that there is something for me to be grateful for, but I might find it. And for like, at this point in my life, 35% of my tapping, made up statistic, is just little prefixes that I'm setting at the end. So I'm setting my subconscious mind up to not being so black and white and recalcitrant to engage with me, but I'm letting it be open to I'm giving it wiggle room. I'm letting it know there doesn't have to be a right answer. I'm saying it's okay if we're not black or white. There's gray inside of this and there's confusion inside of this, and that doesn't stop the process.
That and creativity, the combination of what you're saying and creativity. And again, you can't be creative when your mind is spiking and you're irritated and frustrated and upset or hurt or betrayed or whatever the feeling is. You're not very resourceful and you're not very thoughtful. So again, do what you need to do to calm it down, to do the neutralization. And then it's like, I love that. Sometimes I'll tap and I'll go, what could I be grateful for?
And it's so funny you could do that, and you actually tilt your head the exact same way I do as well. For me, the step before creativity is curious. The step before change is curious. And if I, just because we know that if we like raise our cheeks, we feel better because our body's doing that. For me, just tilting my head to the side and going, like just start shifting my body into that curiosity, which is a lubrication. Like I'm moving away from being stuck. It's not the answer. It's not the creativity. It's not those things. But boy, does it make it a little easier for me to get to that particular place. And so it's like, I wonder if, and literally I do that gesture and I make that sound and it just slowly moves my body into that space.
That, and my favorite is, what if there's another explanation? You know how when you're saying you could, in other situations, take it as you're not that important?
Yeah.
What if there's another explanation? What if it isn't what it looks like?
Yeah.
What if my assumption, right?
What if I'm wrong? Heaven forbid I actually say that out loud. What if my emotional response is wrong?
What if I'm basing it all on my history and it has nothing to do with me? So creative, and again, you can't be kind of funny and humorous and creative and thoughtful when you're uptight, intense, stressed out, mad at somebody, hurt by somebody. It's just not, it does not come out of that. It does not come out of that. So do your basic tapping first, feel the breath, feel the release, and then it's like, okay, well, maybe. So again, when you asked me the original question, 10 minutes, buy a timer, go ahead and do that. Get it done and notice and take notes, what worked and what didn't work. In the book, I have 3 or 4 different ways to do the gratitude. It's like, well, they don't all work for everybody, as we know.
And I love the fact you use the word notice. Like for me, when I'm working with someone, the first question I always ask my clients after a round of tapping is, what did you notice? Because I don't want to what did you release? What came up? Like, I don't want to put my thumb on the scale. And what did you notice? I'm like, I just noticed some tension in my back, or, I noticed this story that I haven't thought about in 37 years or whatever it is. But by giving ourselves that opportunity to have that open-ended question after a round of time, what did I notice? I'm open to release. I'm open to tail enders. I'm open to insight. I'm open to, the amount of time even when I'm like working with my clients in class and I'm tapping along, they will regularly see me while we're tapping going like this, because as we're working through stuff, I'm trying to capture the insights that even though I'm leading someone else that are coming up, because it's just like, oh, right, this has just unfolded itself in front of me. I want to grab it before it disappears.
Right. It's so this work is amazing, isn't it? Still,
It's
someone said, Carol, have you had any other tools? Like, no. If I find another tool that works better, I'll let you know right away. But this is still go-to, right?
Yeah. And both of us, I think, have similar paths of like finding our way through the world of hypnosis into something that is this and going, that is really, I love hypnosis. I love the hypnotic community. I loved what I've learned in that particular community. And the last time I formally put someone in a trance, it's been a decade since I've done that. And that was just because they wanted to experience it, not because it's the most effective way. No shots to that. But this tool that we use is just so quick and so powerful. You'd appreciate this being a New Yorker. I one time did a session with someone on a Friday night at 7:30 in the evening at the corner of 86th and Amsterdam on the Upper West Side. Like we were walking down the street and we were talking about tapping. And she goes, well, can we do it right now? I'm like, you want to step in that coffee shop? She goes, no. And we literally just stepped to the side of traffic in the busy Upper West Side on a Friday night. And we did 15 minutes of tapping. Like it just like, it's so at our fingertips that it's just lovely, figuratively and literally.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gene.
Awesomeness. Well, as always, Carol, thanks for your time and thanks for your amazing insight. And then just the other piece of it, like, this, but 20 years ago, I was listening to you in your podcast, and the fact, that you're now my friend is something that's even more special and awesome on top of all of that. So I appreciate that.
Appreciate you tremendously.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation. As you look at the screen right now, you can see a link to the entire playlist of every single conversation for previous 24 hours of tapping. There are over 120 presentations waiting for you. And please consider supporting the amazing work of the Peaceful Heart Network.